Many of the videos on Photics TV are about Apple Arcade. But is that a good idea? Is Apple Arcade popular? Is it successful? That's the point of this video. It's a closer look at Apple's video game-related subscription service. Obviously, I enjoy Apple Arcade, but I sense a lot of disinterest to disgust in the service. Why? What's wrong? Let's investigate. The reason for this video dates all the way back to the mid-1980s. At the schoolyard, many of the kids were excited about The Legend of Zelda. The guys I normally didn't talk to were discussing things like the location of the Silver Arrow. It was wild. Perhaps that was a fluke, as video games were new back then. But that's not the reason. The Breath of the Wild is incredibly popular. It's one of the reasons why the Nintendo Switch is doing so well in this generation of gaming consoles. Over 26 million copies of Breath of the Wild were sold. So, now that popular franchises like Transformers, My Little Pony, and Star Trek are available on Apple Arcade, I figured Apple could do even better. But, after looking at the leaderboards of Transformers Tactical Arena, that's when I started to doubt the success of Apple Arcade. A little over 16,000 players participated in the weekly Turret Challenge. Around 36,000 players participated in the second Champion League. While that is double from the previous Champion League, these numbers are in the thousands, not millions. Well, perhaps it's the game, right? Maybe people just don't like Transformers, even though there were several blockbuster movies in the last 2 decades, bringing in billions of dollars. So I started looking at other Apple Arcade leaderboards. Zen Pinball Party is another game with popular franchises. That should be spectacular, right? It is better, but not beyond my expectations. Less than 89,000 players were on the leaderboard for the Theater of Magic. That's a classic pinball game, but that doesn't seem to be anywhere near as popular as Zelda on the Switch. I checked the other tables, but it was actually worse. I was astonished to realize that My Little Pony had less players on the leaderboard. Now you could obviously say, but Mike, your channel barely has over 500 subscribers. Who are you to talk about popularity? It's true, if I made a game with 80,000 players, each paying $5 a month, I'd be ecstatic. That's almost $5 million a year. However, Photics is not a multi-trillion-dollar company. Also, that's not the way Apple Arcade works. Free trials of Apple Arcade are included with new Apple devices. So, you could log into Song Pop Party, play a few rounds of top hits, and post your score with over 500,000 other players. Yet, if you cancel the next month, then what? Are you still ranked on the leaderboards? I don't know. But what I do know is that even 500,000 seems kinda low for Apple. Is it that Apple lacks a mascot? I suppose Cross Hero Castle kinda fills that void. This game does break into 7 figures, with almost 1.2 million players on the Unihorse Castle leaderboard. Now, I'm not saying that this is the most reliable data. As an example, something is clearly wrong with Moonshot. While I wasn't expecting high numbers for a recently released Apple Arcade game, it clearly should be better than 0. I can't be the only one playing this adorable game. And I'm greater than 0, so leaderboard data shouldn't be considered absolute. However, this information does give some insight. As an example, that's where I learned about Black Rose. There was a listing for that table, even though it was not yet playable in the game. This information also shows that some games do have high numbers. Skate City showed over 4.1 million players worldwide on the Gold's Completed leaderboard. Alto's Adventure and Alto's Odyssey also have numbers over 1 million. One of those games was released less than 2 months ago. So it's not just about length of time on Apple Arcade. Watching how these numbers change might paint a better picture of the health of Apple Arcade. Yet, Apple Arcade has been around for almost 3 years. Plus, with so many Apple devices in the world, shouldn't the player numbers be much higher? While the player numbers do look low, this doesn't exactly answer the question though. Is Apple Arcade a failure? While I have found Apple Arcade to be lots of fun, it doesn't seem to be as popular as it could be, as it should be. So, what do you think? Is Apple Arcade a success or a failure? You can let everyone know in the comments. Thanks for watching.